remember that being healthy is much more than exercise and eating right. It's also about being around good people, having uplifting habits, letting go of attachments, embracing gratitude, and maintaining your growth. Yung Pueblo. Welcome back, everyone, to Drops of Wellness Wisdom. If this is your first time here, we're so happy you found us. And if you've heard us before, welcome back. And we're so glad you're here. I'm so excited to have you all with us today.
And Dorothy, it's so exciting to see the list of viewers and listeners growing. So we're so grateful. It means so much to me. And why are you excited, Dorothy?
Well, I am so excited because it just shows me that we are building a community, Joy. We are
Yay.
building a community of people who are seeking to be empowered in their own health and who just really want to be a part of a community of people who are learning along with us. So it really excites me to have this sense of community that we're building. It's so important.
Yay, yay, yay. I'm so
Yay. It makes me so
happy.
happy.
I'm happy to think about it's some old friends, new friends, people discovering us by shares. So it's awesome. We have simple words of wisdom to share, and it's just fun that it's getting out there. And it's so good to have like a source. So if we can be just a little bit of help for somebody, yay.
So true. If even we can just help one person feel a little bit more empowered, our work here is done. So hopefully
Excellent.
it'll be much more, but
You know, that word community, right? That's kind of the theme, I think, of this podcast today, would you say?
I think you're right, Joy. I think community is kind of what we're talking about today. And that word community, it brings me back to the beginning of humans on this earth and how we evolved within a community. We had to rely on one another for food, for shelter, for protection, for all these things. And when even back then, when a human didn't follow the rules or was ostracized from the community, that meant certain death
Yeah,
because you needed the community in order to be able to survive. So
yeah,
community has been a part of the human condition since we've been humans. So
yeah. Good
it's
point.
so important.
And you know how I like to bring conversation back to chickens all the time?
And
My
I
back,
hate that.
my backyard chickens have a community, and they would die if they didn't have each other. They need each other. So there's a lesson right in the simple mind of a chicken. So,
Yeah, so I think in today's world, we've kind of gotten away from community and we are solitary, and particularly in the last few years when we've been told to be separate. And I think it's kind of been to our detriment, and we need to relearn how to build communities. I know when I was a kid, our whole neighborhood was like basically one big family. The kids
mm,
all kind of, all the houses, open the doors in the morning, the kids all pile out, the kids and the dogs and everything else, and then they come home at night. And now we don't even really know our neighbors anymore.
yeah, that's hard. We really try to make an effort to meet our neighbors and wave. And sometimes people are just so busy and one-track minded. And I guess when our kids were younger, we would trick or treat with them, so that would get us out, see the neighbors. But it's really not a natural thing, like you said. You're not just sort of automatically part of this group. So
It isn't. Yeah, I found that too, and it's kind of sad. And you really have to make an effort to reach out to people. I know, like, we have a very friendly dog, and that goes a long way towards meeting your neighbors and
mm,
actually developing a relationship where you can stop and talk to them. But I know if it's just me without my dog, and I just, I was very kind of shying with John when I was young, but as I gotten older, it's like, who cares? I don't care anymore what
right.
people think of me. So I like to be friendly and make eye contact and say hi to people, and people are like, who is this weirdo? And they're kind of like,
Oh
just
no.
just
Oh
walk
dear.
on.
You're
So
just being friendly. Why is that looked at as crazy?
I know, why
Yikes.
is that crazy? But yeah, but that's what today's world seems to have brought us
Yeah.
is that kind of solitary, everybody has their own home and there's no sense of community. And yeah, and I think in some way, I think we're all, even if we don't realize it, we're all seeking community in some way.
Hmm.
So, which is why I'm so excited that people are actually finding us, Joy, because I think we're building that community here. So
Neat,
I think
neat.
it's necessary and needed in many ways.
Yeah, I mean, you and
Um,
I don't live in the same town. We have this connection. We have other ways of staying in touch. So it doesn't mean we have to live next door to each other to be part of each other's lives. So, like,
Absolutely.
thankfully, a lot of people are using the technology for that, and it's great, great, great,
It is
great.
great. Sadly, it's not quite the same as real life human interaction, but
Hmm.
it's better than because loneliness and being solitary can really cause physical illness. You know, it's not just a matter of being lonely. It can, depression and solitude is a real problem. People
Yeah,
are ill and are getting more ill, and partly because they don't have anything in life, any
right,
other living thing to help
right,
them kind of stay engaged with life. So
right.
it's not just a matter of being lonely. It's a real problem. It's a real problem.
You know, my mother was in a 12-step program, and long after she didn't really need it anymore, she went to those gatherings because that was her community, one of her communities. She sang in the church choir and did other things, but I just really, as a young child, looked up to that and thought, well, she's really finding support there and friends there, and those are her peeps. So that
Yeah,
was
definitely. I
good.
think we all need to find our peeps. And I know like in the blue there's a lot of talk these days about the blue zones
Oh yeah.
and how people living in these blue zones and it's funny, the blue zones are blue because the guy that was just defining them had one of those blue markers. So he
Oh,
marked them all with a blue marker. That's why
okay.
they're blue zones.
Okay, I always wondered.
So anyway, so these blue zones, and so much of the talk about around the blue zones is about what they ate. And,
Oh,
so let's all eat what the people in the blue zone ate so that we can live long, healthy lives. And so that's a lot of, he talks a lot about how the plant-based and all that. And just, this is a talk for another podcast, I think, but the blue zones are not uniformly plant-based, just FYI. But anyway, the rather than focusing on the nutrition of these groups,
mhm,
what the people who really dove into some of this information discovered was the most important factor was the sense of community in these regions. Almost every family was a multi-generational family, so
mhm.
it wasn't just parents and children, it was grandparents and maybe great-grandparents. And it wasn't because anyone was a burden, it was because each generation had something to offer. They
Yeah.
had help, they had wisdom, they had, and they all loved being in together and not just in the multi-generational homes, but they had communities. They would have community gardens, or they would watch out for one another. It was the sense of community
Mhm.
that was even a much bigger factor than what they were eating.
So interesting, and I love when it's normalized that multi-generational and it's under one roof, like you said, and meals together just sort of solidify those relationships. And there's words of wisdom from all ages, right? It's not just the elders. It's
I
great.
learned more from my granddaughters than,
Yeah,
yes, so we all have something to learn from one another. So,
nice, nice.
oh yeah, and one thing I know, remember in, I don't know if it was our last one or the one before. Anyway, I referenced that egg study.
Oh yeah, yeah,
And you know how the universe just sometimes sends gifts your way? I just love
yeah.
the universe, how it's like, here is a gift for you. And it did that for me because that study was so fascinating and I couldn't remember where I'd heard it or seen it. So I was watching another different podcast the other day, and lo and behold, there was that study.
Okay,
So it was
cool.
like,
So
I was
remind our
obviously meant to
listeners.
reshare it. And while it fits in this context as well because it's still about community. So it was this woman named Veda Austin, and she's part scientist, part artist. And what she does is she takes the albumin from eggs, the egg white, and she has a special freezing process. And then what comes out of the freezer makes this art
Okay.
of the crystals in the albumin. So she was finding that the eggs from chickens who are happy pasture raised, like your chickens are out there having a great life.
Yeah.
Their frozen albumin was beautiful, structured, and just really
Okay.
stunning. And she would take eggs from the caged eggs, the miserable chickens who can't
Hmm.
even stand up, and it's awful. And their albumin had no coherence at all. It was ugly and just very awful. So she decided to see if she could change the energy of the egg. So she placed one egg from a pasture-raised chicken in the center and put 12 cage-raised eggs around it, and then another pasture-raised off to the side as a control. And one would think most people, she was expecting, I believe, with the 12 caged eggs
Hmm.
would impact this one pasture-raised eggs and that
Right.
turn it ugly. What she found when the center egg was still, when she froze, the albumin was still beautiful and structured and just very pleasing, but all 12 of the caged eggs, their albumin had become structured and beautiful as well.
Wow.
So that just shows the power of the community and how
Mm.
everything is energy, and that positive energy can really affect your whole community.
Right.
So when you have a community, and there's, even if some people are a little crotchety, if most people are like having the happy energy, it's gonna affect your whole community.
Yeah.
So, and the positive energy is a much higher vibration than the caged eggs energy, and so it's going to raise up the higher energy will raise up the lower energy within a community. So it was so perfect for this community episode. And to me, I was so surprised that that one pastured happy egg had that effect on the 12 sad eggs.
I
So,
agree. I would think it would be the opposite too.
right.
Yeah.
Which it just, again, and I thought it was perfect here. It just shows the power of community and
Yeah.
how the energies of people living and supporting one another can really be so beneficial for their
Yeah.
health and wellness.
Yeah. And it's like mindset, right? Which we'll get to in another
Yes.
call too. But like, um, if you know you're going to be in a room of people that maybe are in a bad mood, you can be the positive force if you just put that right hat on for the day, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Nice.
And I think everybody needs that in some way, shape, or form in their life. They need to have the people that will help raise them up.
Hmm.
High tides lift all boats or whatever. And
Yeah.
who was it? John Donne, I think, was the poet that said, "No man is an island entire of itself." And
Yeah.
we are not solitary. We are
No.
not a solitary animal.
Right.
And I just totally just lost my train of thought, but it will come back. It will
Yeah.
come.
Well, I'm here for you, Dorothy.
Oh, yes. No, I was gonna, my clients and some of the people that come to me, and particularly like parents who are maybe empty nesting and their lives have been their children and they don't have a community anymore. So they'll come to me and they're a little bit adrift and don't know. So I'm like, find a group, join a book club or
Yeah.
a knitting club or a fitness center or some place where people you can have something in common with, and
Yeah.
make those people your people, because we all need somebody to make our egg whites happy again, I
It's
guess,
true.
when we need it. So
It's true.
we all somehow need a group of people who will support us
Yeah.
and be our peeps.
Yeah.
So Joy, tell me who your people are.
Well, it's interesting. Like I'm consider myself an introvert and I used to be more shy, I think, than I am now, but I used to feel like, oh, I'm fine without a lot of people around. And the word networking like scared me because I didn't want to have to talk in front of people or something. So, but then I realized, like you're saying with your examples, that we need people and we can feed off that energy. Even if, as an introvert, I need to kind of do my downtime and recharge in private, I don't necessarily get my full energy for the day from people, but I need people. And like look at a lot of actors and public speakers, they're introverted and they still need people. So community is so important. And being aware of it, I think really helps you know what your needs are.
It's true. Yeah. And I know I moved from my farm in Connecticut
Yeah,
to be near my grandchildren. So I'm here in Massachusetts. And I knew, because I didn't have a huge community in Connecticut. My
yeah,
chickens were my community and I had clients, but moving here I knew I needed to find people.
yeah.
So I joined book clubs and I did
Excellent.
all the things that I'm
Yeah,
recommending to my clients now. But I do have to say that my doTERRA, I mean, I don't, doTERRA is our natural wellness company that where Joy and I met, and there's so many good things that being part of that organization has done for me, but the biggest one is the sense of community it brought me.
Yeah.
Even within my core group, we couldn't be more different. We
Yeah.
couldn't be more
Yeah.
different, but yet we all love each other and are there
Yeah.
for each other. I know no matter what, I can call on someone in my doTERRA team and they're going to be there for me.
Yeah.
So it's that sense of community has been so important to me.
It's true. There's like a loyalty there that you don't always find. I didn't fully answer your question before because like I definitely have, even as a shyer person, I have my communities. I have church friends. I have a few friends from college even that I stay in touch with, things like that. But you bring up a good point with our doTERRA friends. That's just another level because we've gone through a lot together with learning, kind of our adult learning after kids grew up, and we've been teaching together, learning together, going to events together, sleeping in the same room together. So we really just have bonded, and that's such a cool thing. And what I love about it too, like you said, we're all different. So there is something that unites us with the products and the learning that we like, but we all have different backgrounds and different belief systems, and it's okay. We can get along and support each other.
It's so true. Yeah, like I said, we couldn't really be any more different from one another, but we have that common love of wellness and seeking wellness and supporting one another in that
Yeah.
and that overcomes everything else. And I
Yeah.
think that I think maybe even the doTERRA ethos might be the pastured egg in the middle of our group because the energy of that might be lifting us all up into kind of a similar energy because yeah, we're all so different yet there's so much love there, and it's
Yeah.
been so important to me over the last 10 plus years to
Yeah.
have you
Same.
all in my life. So,
Same.
in that note, we thought that maybe now might be a good time to introduce you to some of our other teammates. So, without further ado, so here we are introducing you to some of our amazing community members. We're going to start with the amazing Heidi Lyons. Heidi, introduce yourself to the community.
Hi, my name is Heidi Lyons, and this is part of my beautiful doTERRA family. And I think when I think community, because that's what we're talking about now, right? When
Yes.
I think community, I think family because it's a group of people that you relate to. You have something in common that brings you together, and you're there to support each other. You're there to build each other up. You're there to work through difficult times, communicate. You bounce ideas off of each other, and when you're together, it just fills your cup. And that's the way I feel when I'm with my doTERRA family.
Wonderful. So
That's
touching.
beautiful, Heidi.
Thank
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And Teresa,
Everyone adds
please introduce
value.
yourselves to our amazing community.
Hi, I am Teresa Falciano, and I'm a certified doTERRA wellness advocate. And when I think about community, definitely sharing things in common. When I think of community, I think about love. That's really the big thing for me. And for the doTERRA community, the company at large, their love for nature, their love for family, for community, geographic community, their love for helping and healing, what is good, what is beautiful, what is true. And I think that translates to our doTERRA team community. You're my girlfriends.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that. We share the same desire to help people harness nature for their wellness and just common goals within the doTERRA community to serve our neighbor. So yeah, from a business standpoint, it's a great community, but also personally, it fills your love cup.
Beautiful.
Beautifully said, Teresa. Thank you.
Community
So,
keeps you going.
It
Yep.
It keeps
does.
you going. I mean, you even consider like the blue zones around the world where people are living past 100. It's like the number one thing is community. I mean,
Yep.
sure, it's food and other things, but the community is paramount to our wellness, our longevity.
Yep, we have already touched on that in this episode. So thank you for reiterating that, Teresa. Absolutely, it's the community. The blue zones are all about the community. So thank you so much, Teresa and Heidi, for joining us in our little podcast adventure. Well, thank you all for being with us today. I hope you enjoyed meeting our extended community, and I'm so happy to have you joining this community here with us. If you'd like to learn more about some of the little tidbits we're learning about wellness, you can find most of them right here in my book, Empowered Health Naturally. You can get it at Amazon, and it has the things we've been talking about in the podcast, plus other interesting stuff. And I encourage you, if you are needing community, please join us here every week and find your own community in your own hometown. Do get out into your community, do what calls to you to find your people, because it's truly important. So let us know in the comments. Be sure to like and subscribe, and let us know your community, because we can't wait to hear. Thanks for joining.
Bye. Thank you.